Okay, Shalom, Shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah. Kolo Imla Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakahakodash. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. And that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akhwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Yah Kalan Nawach. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And just wanted to touch on that COV19 when they came out with that shot, that jump shot, and wanted everybody to roll up their sleeves. And mainly, they started off with these so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And remember how they was talking about, we were, the ones that's most affected, or the ones that are more than likely to catch this particular disease because of our eating habits and, lifestyle and, all these different things, right? So a lot of our people fell for that lie that came from Esau, basically pretending as if he loves you. And I can remember this one guy, this one doctor, he was like, look at it as reparations. You should be happy and glad that we're actually passing up everyone to actually offer you this medicine to save your community's lives. Now we're seeing Dr. Fauci, or as the beloved Elder Malcolm will call him, Dr. Fauci. Hey, this guy, he pled the fifth on every single question they asked him. They was asking him, like, what color is the carpet? What color is that book? He was like, yeah, my lawyer has advised me to plead the fifth. He didn't answer no questions. They asked him about an apology. He didn't give no apologies. And then, I was just watching a few of the brothers' videos, as of this week. The Elder Malcolm went into it. I was just watching the beloved Apostle Tahar. He was going off into it. And, a lot of brothers been going off into, videos of we told you so. We told you not to trust this man. And the scriptures clearly says to never trust thine enemy. These people are not your fucking friends, man. They have tested. And that's what kept a lot of Jake from really, it didn't work out like how they planned on it to work out, because, Negroes would normally just go out and just be like, oh man, a so-called white man ain't it, or just fear factor, scare Jake into doing shit. And a lot of Jake didn't go for this shit. Them stories of Tuskegee and, the experiments as far as them giving so-called black men syphilis and watching them suffer and doing all these different things, how they've experimented on our people forever, with certain medicines. And Jake was like, a lot of that stuff started to pop up, online. And, Jake caught wind of it, a lot of TikTok videos, things of that nature. And Jake was like, nah, man, I'm not going to take that shit. A lot of our women went out there and took it, though. You know why? Because they have these jobs. And guess what? Soon as that shit was over with, Trump came right in and got rid of like 300,000 of y'all asses right off the jump. Now I'm hearing the numbers is up to like 600,000 of so-called black women that have lost these nice, good-paying jobs that you went and took that jab to keep. These federal jobs. And, a lot of them took those jabs, to keep those little RN jobs, those medical nurse jobs, or whatever you want to call them, in the medical field. So now, you got videos of them talking about how they regret the shit. So when I seen all that, and it just dawned on me, like, let me just type in, I'm going to ask Google AI. I said, what's some of the things that were offered to people to take the COVID, the shot, let me see, when it first came out? Because I can remember all the commercials, or I can remember all the things that was on TV at the time, and them offerings, free this, free that. If you take the shot, you can prove that you took your shot. You can get this, and this. So AI came, it gave that list. I can remember some of these things. So let's read into some of it. It says, when the COVID-19 vaccines first rolled out to the general public in 2021, which seemed like that shit was just yesterday, bro. It is 2026 already. Governments, states, and private businesses launched an unprecedented, not that they just launch, some shit. It was unprecedented the way that they was launching this scheme, basically. An unprecedented wave of vaccine incentives to boost vaccination rates. These perks range from everyday free food items to multi-million-dollar lotteries. So they have cash lotteries and financial perks. $1 million lotteries. States like Ohio, the Vax a Million pioneer. That's crazy, bro. California, Vax for the Win. Colorado, Combat Cash. And Massachusetts created public lotteries offering vaccinated residents a chance to win $1 million or more in cash prizes. And you know a lot of people was stupid enough to go and roll up their sleeves. And I should have asked, did anybody ever win this shit? I might just do that. But let's read on. Savings bonds and cash. West Virginia offered $100 saving bonds to young adults who got the shot, while the Colorado Department of Corrections gave $500 cash bonuses to vaccinated staff members. See? Now they're regretting it. All these people, a lot of these people are not here to regret it. A lot of these people gone. They back in the spirit world. College scholarships. Multiple states, including Massachusetts and New York, held drawings for fully vaccinated youth to win full ride college scholarships covering tuition, room, and board at state universities. You know, a lot of these people didn't know no better and they went for it. But at the same time, too, I'm pretty certain, you know, it's just me speaking as a man. Someone in everyone's life that went and took that shit told them, hey, don't go do that. Somebody told them, whether it was their mama, their daddy, their auntie, or their cousin, or somebody that didn't trust this shit said, hey, don't do that. You know, that's just me speaking as a man. I don't think nobody actually took that shit, especially amongst our people, you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you have to realize that you are the biblical Hebrew Israelites, and all these nations, they have always been trying to knock your ass off of this planet. If it wasn't for the Lord keeping a remnant of our people, we'd have been gone. Because these people have a perpetual hatred towards you. They want you off of this planet. They don't want... And it's kind of crazy because it's like they'll lose their goddamn minds if we weren't here because they won't have nothing to do. They wouldn't have someone to perpetually hate, which is their main goal in life. They need someone to deep down, just grimy down, hate. And it's you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. But who did they come... I'm gonna type that in too, Lord willing. Who did they come at first to try and offer this shit to? They went strong about offering this to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I remember that shit. Then I can remember them talking about men cutting their beards so that the mask could fit properly on your face. When if anything, a beard is going to catch a lot of, you know, dust and certain things, you know what I'm saying, before it actually hits your nostrils or your, you know, your mouth or whatever. Or maybe even your eyes. But he wanted you to I remember there was shit on TV where, you know, commercials and, you know, news articles and shit where they wanted us to cut our beards, men to cut their beards so that the mask could fit securely on their face. And we wasn't going for none of that shit. We did wear the mask though, you know what I'm saying, because that was their low law. You know, because we got Salaki for that. I was trying to pause real quick, but it's music playing in this car was going by, and let me just throw up a copyright disclaimer just in case, because they'll give you a copyright hookup just for a car ride by playing music, man. That shit is stupid, you know. But anyway, let's just jump back into this because I forgot what I was actually saying. But anyway. These are all the incentives that they was offering. I remember all this stuff. Oh, I was talking about the beards with the mask. But it says free food and beverages. All this shit was stupid, bro. We were just looking at this shit like these people crazy as hell. But guess what? A lot of people went out and took that shot and got these little free things. Sweet treats. Krispy Kreme famously offered a free glazed donut. I remember that. A free glazed donut every single day for the remainder of 2021 to anyone showing a valid vaccination card. See? And you already know they got kickbacks. They got their money back from the government. Anything that they lost, you know, they got their money back from the government. Fast food vouchers. New York City handed out vouchers for free Shake Shack burgers and fries, while McDonald's clinics in California gave out coupons for free menu items, shot, and a beer. Breweries, bars, and local governments across the country offered free craft beers or alcoholic drinks to adults who showed proof of vaccination. And I can remember too here, dispensaries was offering like basically a free joint. You know what I'm saying? You know they you know those I forgot what they call. They kind of like in that cone. They weren't like your normal old ass 1970s joints. They was like motherfuckers is a big ass, damn near big as a blunt, or what they would call a spliff. But I can remember that. Some of these dispensaries, that's here in the area that I'm in. So you got to realize every single city, state, borough, county in America was all doing something different. This is just a few of the things that we know about from bigger companies. But there was a lot of companies that was doing this stuff, man. There was a lot of different people that was doing this. You had, little mom and pop stores before their asses got closed up and shut down, you know? So they got Girl Scout cookies. The Indiana Department of Health partnered with the Girl Scouts to give away free boxes of cookies at select clinic sites. You going to go and take a goddamn shot for some snacks, bro? You deserve whatever came with that shit. Tickets and entertainment and experiences. Theme parks. Selection vaccination sites in California handed out free tickets to Six Flags amusement parks. Racetrack hot laps. The Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama allowed vaccinated individuals to drive their own cars and trucks on the iconic 2.66-mile racetrack. You know, a lot of people done that shit too. A bunch of goddamn Edomites, just so you can get on the racetrack. Sports tickets. Now I do remember this. Professional sports teams, including the Major League Baseball and the National Basketball Association, the MLB and the NBA, franchises hosted pop-up clinics at stadiums on game days, giving out free game tickets to those who got shot on site. So they was holding these, and you know how many people those damn stadiums hold, man. Them shits hold 100,000 and better in them stadiums, man. And people was coming in there in droves. That's just like in your churches. Don't forget about your churches. Don't forget about your Christian churches with sweet white baby Jesus having them drive-throughs. Might have been offering you. I ain't no telling what they was offering, because they was offering free shit too. From other companies. Like, yeah, you can come through, get your shot at the church, and you might get your tickets to the NBA game from there. So it says outdoor and lifestyle incentives. Hunting and fishing licenses. Arkansas offered a $20 game and fish certificate for hunting and fishing licenses. And Maine gave away free hunting and fishing permits. Free cannabis. I remember it now. It jumped to it, but this is not our state here. It says in Washington State, the Liquor and Cannabis Board approved a joints for jabs. Crazy, bro. Here you go. You hiding a motherfucker with that jab in you. Through, bro. It says a program allowing licensed dispensaries to give a free pre-roll cannabis joint to adults getting vaccinated at active on-site clinics. So they probably had some of that goddamn that fucking shot in them damn joints. Your ass get a double dose. Logistics and convenience. Free transportation. Rideshare giants like Uber and Lyft partner with the White House to provide free rides to and from vaccine appointments. See? Paid time off. Many corporations and local government agencies offer paid leave so employees wouldn't lose a day's wages to get the shot or recover from side effects. Golly, boy. And so that's what they have, but we know that it's far more than that. But let me just grab one. I didn't want to keep this long. It was just something that it just hit me, like in the spirit. Just look it up because I remember it, as the apostle was going through his video. I'm like, man, they was offering all kinds of shit. So let's just get the main scripture, because I did want to ask again. I'm trying to think, what was that first question I wanted to ask him. Ecclesiastes 12:10, it says, never. Now this is for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because this man didn't care about his own people dying. He knew that shit was some bullshit. And this is not medical advice. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're disproportionately more than, basically they was basically saying you're more than likely to catch this disease because of your lifestyle, the way that the foods that you eat, and just your genetics, so to speak, But it says, though he humble himself, and that's what they was doing, well, let us give it to you first, and go crouching, and yet take good heed, and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. So eventually you're going to be like up, just like I seen that video with the elder yesterday from Kansas City, and he had them women that was talking about how they hated that they done that shit, and it was some men too. There's a lot of people, they regret taking that shit. They hate it. because they don't feel the same. Young people, the ones that it didn't completely take off of this planet, they don't feel right, So they're lethargic, the thinking is cloudy. And then two, I know the elder was speaking on us being around people that actually took that shit. Them breathing on your ass. Ain't no fucking tell you. I can remember, them talking about, if you had sex with somebody unprotected. It was some doctors bringing stuff like that up. If you had sex with somebody unprotected, then, and them having that shot and you didn't have the shot, it was basically transferring from them into you. Crazy, bro. So, them breathing around you, spitting and, all that, ain't no telling, man. We just pray to Yahweh Shemel Shah for his mercy, man. You know what I'm saying? And just protection and safety, man. Let me just put in was blacks, Hispanics, and natives. All the tribes. They was on the tribes' ass at that time. You see Slocky. Offered. Let me just put that in. The COVID shot first. And why? Let me put in. And why? Let's just see what pops up. We'll see. It says, let me see. It says, Black, Hispanic, and Native American individuals were not officially given a blanket racial priority to receive the COVID-19 vaccine before other groups. Instead, U.S. federal and state rollout plans prioritize people based on age. I remember that, though, age as far as 65 and older. I'm not talking about that. I do remember that part, too. And occupations such as healthcare workers and frontline essential workers. However, public health frameworks like those from the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and Prevention, and the National Academics of Science, Engineering, and Medicine strongly, emphasize equity. Many individuals within Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities naturally qualified in those early phases because they faced a higher burden of severe outcomes from the virus. See that? Now why? Why not Chinese people? Why not Japanese people? Why not Filipino people or, Cambodians or any of those people that may be from Moab and Ammon's line or Elam? What about the East Indians over, with the dot on their damn head? What about them? What about, just these different nations? Why was it just so focused on the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Who do we always say? Who the GMS, Great Millstone, and Israelite camps, there's a bunch of them. Who do they say the Israelites are today? Mainly the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. When you look at that chart, when you see the elders on the streets, out there teaching the Gospels. Isn't this that's one of the main key parts of the doctrine that our the men of the Lord teach. So why was they, just think about it. It's those people that they wanted to actually have this shot first, as if they cared about you. Now, Dr. Fauci, he's telling you, he said all kinds of shit. He's pleading the fifth. Why do you think Joe Biden, because Joe Biden, he played a part in it too. You niggas ran out here and you was ready to vote for Kamala and carry on his legacy. That nigga got full immunity from Joe Biden before he left office. Why? If it was so good, if everything was good, he didn't, come to find out this nigga was doing all kinds of shit. Anyway, reasons for focuses on vulnerable communities. That's what I said. And why? So we see that this is the truth. So why did they want to focus in on us as a people? Higher rates of severe illness. Data show that Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous Americans experience significantly higher rates of hospitalization and death compared to white Americans. Well, that's a part of the curses. That's another way that you can tell that we are the Israelites, because of the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Of course, we're the most sickly people on this planet because of the curses that the Lord placed upon us for not listening, for disobedience. You know what I'm saying? For following in behind these other fucking heathenish ass nations, man, and their demonic ass ways. So that's another, a check that we are the Israelites. Number 2 bullet list on the bullet list here: essential and frontline work. A larger share of people of color worked in high exposure frontline jobs that could not be done remotely, raising their risk of infection. Remember they was talking about Jake working fast food restaurant jobs. You're at the counter, you're accepting money, you're running the drive-through. I remember all that shit. Yeah, you're out in the public. You have to go to work. You can't work from home. You don't have no job. See, all these so-called Edomites or so-called white people, they are the Edomites. They was working from home. Sipping wine, the dog licking them all in the mouth on the couch while they, fucking off at home. They was able to go to the crib, because they had them little computer jobs and shit like that. But Jake, you had to go clean them toilets. You had to go to those jobs that, and stand and be a damn cashier somewhere. Or, valet parking or whatever the fuck, Jake might have been doing. So I can see that too, but that's a part of those curses. It says social and structural factors. Overcrowded or multi-generational housing. See that? They like, oh, you niggas don't move out. You niggas all stay together. You're packed into these cribs. You know what I'm saying? And these are good reasonings. But we just know that Esau's a goddamn liar. He's not to be trusted. Because the scripture says don't trust him. It says underlying health conditions made certain minority communities more vulnerable to outbreaks. Public health equity goals is number 4 on the bullet list. Advisory groups use tools like the Social Vulnerability Index to direct target outreach and mobile clinics to undeserved areas, ensuring that access barriers did not leave high-risk minority populations behind. Yeah, they made sure you niggas is gonna get it. And a lot of Jake went out here and took that shit, man. So I didn't want to keep it long, but you can clearly see the mindset of the devil. Let me end out with this. Because see, the scriptures, the Lord, he told us never to trust thine enemy. If you don't know who your enemy is, then you don't know who the fuck to not trust. That's where reading the scriptures comes in at. Because when you read the scriptures, the Lord shows you the scriptures, the precepts, to show you that this man is the fucking devil. He has fucked this whole planet up. This man don't care about nothing. But a lot of people don't see it that way. They just look at it like, oh, well, we're all a human race and we're all fucking up. No, this man plays a far bigger part than other races on this planet when it comes to fucking this planet up, man. And the Lord said he's going to destroy those that destroy the earth. And it's them. They won't fucking stop. Here you go, you out here with all this fucking GMO foods and ultra processed foods, and fucking with the water and fucking with the air and, just fucking with people's mental state. You got to get up and get, you know what I'm saying? People don't, all other countries, when it comes to getting time off, all these other countries, they have far more time to get off and take, as far as vacation time. They call it holidays. I'm going on holiday, that type of shit over in those other countries. But, they take time off. They get a lot more time off for, when they have children. Even the men get time off in a lot of those countries when it comes to a family having a baby. Not just the woman. You get mental breaks, man. You get time off. Then the food is better. The nutrition is better. Mental mind state is better. These fucking Americas, where Esau tried to jug that shit on our people, these people fucked. And you ask me, hey, I'm just speaking as a man. It's a lot more crash outs been going on since that goddamn shot went down. These people been bugging the fuck out. It's never been like this, man. I know things are speeding up and things are turning up, but things have really gotten crazy since motherfuckers took that shot, man. So this is 2 Corinthians 2:11. And it reads, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of the way that Satan gets down. You have to know his schemes. Matter of fact, in the Amplified, it says to keep Satan from taking advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his schemes. He was scheming on us, man, as a people, man, when he put that damn shot out. He was scheming, man. Now here you go, this motherfucker sat there and was asked I don't know how many questions. And he never gave not one answer. All he said, my lawyer has advised me to plead the fifth. And that's a damn devil for you, man. Here you go, all these people gone, all these people fucked up. And then, they had it where these companies that, that created the damn shot was immune. They had total immunity to if it fucked you up. You couldn't sue them. You couldn't get you ain't heard about nobody getting having no damn law. You know how many fucking lawsuits it'll be right now if people could actually sue? Why you ain't hearing about no lawsuits on that? Because you can't sue. They made sure of that shit. You was coming in and you was signing pretty much a waiver saying, hey, look, I mean, you can't. It's nothing you can do. People came in, and not only did they take the one shot, they took 2, 3, 4 of them bitches. Motherfuckers was taking boosts, and them pretty much the people that's out of here. These young ass people that was falling out on them damn basketball courts and volleyball courts and whatever court. Young people. Because they wanted to go to school, they wanted to do their this is my life, this is my talent, this is like, and they took every goddamn booster that they was required to take and then last. So you be careful, man, and that's why I say too, I was thinking, just me speaking as a man as well, when it comes to this this new thing. And the new thing is that mark of the beauty and the beast, that Revelation 13, 16 and 17, where no man will be able to buy or sell save he that had the mark. And when they come with that, people are going to resist. And they're going to resist because of a motherfucker like Dr. Fauci saying, I plead the fifth. Because people don't trust nothing no more. They don't trust any of that shit. They don't give a fuck what it is that's got to do with a needle going into the asses. They don't trust it like that. Matter of fact, the measles vaccine, JFK right now, he's talking about that. He's talking about how, matter of fact, let's just put it in. No, let's just ask a quick question real quick. JFK Jr., I've been seeing articles on it. I haven't gone into it, though. Let's just put in asking families to come and get that fucking measles shot. Because people not getting it. People not trusting none of that shit no more. See, they've lost that trust of the public when it comes to stuff like this. It says Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. urged parents to vaccinate their children against measles, stating that the shot is safe and above 97% effective. They don't give a fuck about that other 3%. And again, this is not medical advice. He says he made these remarks during the interview in CNN's State of the Union as U.S. measles cases reached a 35-year high. And that's what they've been talking about. So they're basically like, he says parents should get their children vaccinated for measles, noting the vaccine stops the disease in about 97% of cases. The endorsement came amid a sharp rise in U.S. measles infections, surpassing 2,300 cases for the year, with the vast majority of cases occurring in unvaccinated individuals. Right? So you can pretty much see what it is, and that's 2,300 people out of 340 million people on the planet, but, still, we know what it is, But, hey, just wanted to touch on that. Let me grab one more. Because again, when Esau comes down the pipe with that Revelation 13, 16, that C-hip, that microchip, this is where a lot of people gonna get put down. There's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna be put to death that refuse. Because a lot of people are gonna refuse because they don't trust the fucking government. They don't trust your ass no more. They used to, which they shouldn't have, even then. But they don't trust you now, seeing the results of this COVID-19 thing, man. And other hookups too. They starting to see that, medically, there's too much information going on with this internet with people looking up certain things. You might actually, ask, there's so much shit you can AI ask now, I got symptoms of this. my hand been hurting, or my joint been hurting, or my ear been doing this, or my eye been doing that. What do you think? Whatever. It might bring up all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? To tell you what it could or might be or might not be or whatever the case may be. People doing their own little personal doctor's visit analysis right through their damn phone these days. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of information as far as online where people just reading, and some is disinformation, some is misinformation, some is not to believe, some you got to filter through. But in the meanwhile, people don't trust the government no more, man. There's too many articles coming out, too many stories. It's just too vast. It used to just be, you turn on your TV at night and you listen to Walter Cronkite or whoever the fuck, and that was that. It was only a couple of news stations. Now the internet, it's all kinds of alternative news now. So let me get this one and I'll end out. Ephesians 5 and 15. Yeah, you Edomites are done, man. Nobody trusts y'all asses. That man of sin, the son of perdition, is being revealed. That's 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. That man has to be revealed. He's being revealed. Y'all being revealed as the wicked, man. And that Job 9 and 24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He was the man that was able to shut down the whole entire globe. Billions of people, man. Billions of people had to stop what they was doing, stand 6 feet apart, and wear goddamn diapers on their face. And some people still wearing a mask. Ephesians 5 and 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. And that's a commandment, man, to us, as you men and women that are into this truth. We're to walk circumspectly to actually watch and pray. And see, we was watching for stuff like that all along. I can remember, certain people asking me, because they kind of remembered what I was into, but of course they wasn't into it like whatever. But they remembered hey, this is something that this guy was talking about before. He know that Bible, so to speak, and they was asking me, well, how can I get a religious exemption? Basically, I remember my mom called me. My sister was like a traveling nurse. She still is to this day, and I still don't know whether or not she took that jump shot, man. But my mom called me and was like, well, your sister, she's trying to find out, how she can get a religious exemption, whatever. Because I had told, that's what I put in for, and it went through for me because I prayed to the Lord. I was like, well, Lord, hey, you if a man should, if a man doesn't work, neither shall he eat. I was just reminding the Lord of what he said, the scriptures that he said in prayer. And just, hey, well, man's goings of the Lord, it's all in your hands, it's all up to you. But I know that you don't want me taking this shot and basically, I'm going to put in for this religious exemption. If you allow it to go through, I'll just continue on working. If you don't, I'm quitting. And that was that. But I put in all the scriptures because I remember some of the stuff that was actually in the, I looked up. Matter of fact, I still got that email from my exemption. Now, that shit going back, and I thought about that the other day too. Matter of fact, let me see if I got that shit. Let me see. Okay, Con, I do got that email, but I didn't want to just pop it up too much. Little personal information, but it basically, it was quick. It was a quick email that they sent me back. They was like, upon reviewing the information that you sent, we grant you your religious exemption. Now, mind you, everybody at my job was fucked up. This chick that I work with today, she been fucked up ever since. Her and this other guy that I work with took that shit. There was only one other guy that I knew that mentioned that he got a religious exemption too. And I remember a whole bunch of people, I was starting to see a lot of obituaries in the cafeteria. You know how they'll post a picture up and let you know such and such passed away. And there was a lot of those pictures, man, around that time. A lot of those older Edomite men went and took that goddamn shot, and that shit took their asses. Me, personally, I don't know how they died, but I just remember I never seen no obituaries in it like that before. And then it was one every other week, every week or so. I was like, and it done, me speaking as a man, I always thought that it was that shot because I'd never seen it before. Never seen a lot of those people before. Again. So once everybody came from home, because everybody was mainly working from home, I was still out in the field, It never bothered me. I never got sick, none of that. I just went to work. And I really wasn't around nobody because wasn't nobody at work. I was just going. I was really just wasting damn gas going, but I was going to get my little check. The Lord made it real easy for me. But a lot of those people, man, I haven't seen no more. And it's a big ass spot that we work at. It's hundreds of people that work there, but it was people, it was a lot of people that I normally would work with. Motherfuckers is gone. Anyway, you get the point. But I remember my sister. I never did find out. I sent my sister like some scriptures because my mom asked me, and I told my mom, write these scriptures down, and just give these scriptures to her. And I never did speak to her about whether or not she took the shit or not. I don't know. She's still working that job. And I don't know if she went and actually done it. She could have, though. Ain't no telling. Like, she's like a Yah Israelite. She knows she's an Israelite, but she one of the ones that be calling on Yah, But anyway, another lesson. But these are, interesting questions right here that I was asking, when it came to those incentives of what people was actually taking. I mean, what they was offered and what people was actually taking from these people to actually take that damn shot, and it was nothing. $1 million lottery. I would like to know if anybody actually won that shit. Let me see something. And I'm gonna just ask this one to be out. Salakia. I'm just gonna put in, did anyone win? Salakia down. The $1 million. $1 million COVID shot. COVID shot lottery. Let's see. Never heard about nobody winning that shit. I think it was some bullshit. It says, yes, multiple people won $1 million prize across several U.S. states that launched vaccine lottery drawings. Okay, so some people won. Abigail Bukinski, a 22-year-old mechanical engineer from Cincinnati suburb, who became the nation's first pandemic vaccine lottery millionaire. Okay, all right, so it was women too. Latonda Anderson, a 51-year-old resident from Grand Blanc, Michigan. I think I might have remembered that. Patricia Short, see if you notice, number women. A Lexington resident who took home the top cash prize in Kentucky, shot at $1 million. Look at that, shot at $1 million, bro. Cameron, Washington State, a mechanic. Now this might have been a guy from South King County who won the $1 million prize in Washington, shot of a lifetime. Most states running these lotteries also offered a parallel drawing for vaccinated minors under 18 instead of cash. Teenagers like Joseph Costello of Ohio won full 4-year college scholarship, and I'm willing to bet you right now his ass probably, I wonder if any of these people are alive. Let me see. I'm just going to put in, did any of them die? Oh, man. Let's just see. Crazy work. They may not be able to say nothing about it, but we'll see. It says, no, there's no reports of any major COVID-19 vaccine lottery runners dying from the vaccine or passing away since their wins. Public records and follow-up profiles show that high-profile winners are alive and well. Online rumors about their deaths are often fueled by misinformation or confusion with unrelated lottery winners who passed away under different circumstances. And then they got why rumors circulate. See? So you just never know. Because, of course, they don't want you to know that if somebody actually died from this shit. Yeah, so some of them went back to their private lives after winning that money. Well, we don't need to know no more. I just wanted to just chop it up on that real quick. So, hey, because Esau about to come with some more shit. And it's mainly the main thing that he's going to come with is that mark of the beast, man. That's what we're going to have to really stand strong and fight on, because this is going to be that great temptation where, motherfuckers is going to be beheaded. They gonna, because they know that people don't trust this shit. They know that they're gonna have a lot of resistance, man. So they're gonna scare the shit out of your ass into taking it, in a sense. You know, okay, you ain't gonna come take it, because they might offer you some shit. They might offer you the same shit they offering offer with this COVID shot, but people are not going for that shit. But after that, once they give you that offering and you voluntarily come, or those few that will voluntarily come after that, and they see that them numbers is down, and them numbers is not up like how they should be, that's when they gonna start coming with some brutal fucking force, man. I wouldn't doubt. And we know that it's gonna be some force, because the scripture talks about some beheadings and things of that nature. And no telling what they gonna do to people, man, to scare the shit out of them. And to, you got your family, you got people that, a lot of people took the COVID shot because of their family. It wasn't even necessarily something that they wanted to do for themselves. So a lot of people fell for it just for family reasons. You got kids, you got, your elderly parents, whatever the case may be. They may need their medicines. They may need, because you're not going to be able to do anything in this situation. See, with the COVID-19, that was like a precursor. You could at least go out and still handle business. You just had to stay 6 feet, wear your mask, and wait through that long ass line. But with this, the mark of the beast, you're going to either get that shit and be able to move about in society, or if you don't, you're not going to be able to move about in society. And then it's just going to come a point where you're just going to be a non-desirable if you don't take it. And they're just going to be rounding motherfuckers up, man, to get rid of their asses and start what they believe to be a new life, or a new lease on their new government or whatever. Anyway, pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yashala and Ababa Ball. Don't take nothing that this man offers like that, man. And with that, shalom.